maybe your best fall isn't about doing more.
And sometimes it's just be like, whoa, just be present.
To honor your boundaries, know what your boundaries are.
Welcome to the very first episode of the Better You Show. We are 5 coaches with one mission, real conversations to help you thrive as your version of the Better You. And today, we're talking about how to make this your best fall without burning out before Halloween. But first, let's get to know the coaches. I don't want to make anybody guess as to who's who and what's what. So, that might be fun as a game for another episode. So, each coach will say their name and what kind of coaching you do, and one thing that you hope women take away from these conversations. So, I'll go first. My name is Doris Epford. I am known as the Chaos Calmer because I help women to reclaim their time so that they can focus on the things that really matter to them.
I'm Tiffany. I'm a mindset coach and hypnotherapist and owner of Breakthrough Mindset Coaching and Hypnotherapy. And I help people shift subconscious fears and negative core beliefs so that it can create the life that they want. And for you guys to take away today, I want you to know that I believe that shifting your mindset is the key to your next breakthrough.
Hi, everyone. I'm Coach Sarah. I'm known as the Breakthrough Strategist, and I'm a leadership coach for women who are going through management and transition in their lives. I help them to become the CEO of their lives and also their businesses and careers as well. So I'm here to help you out and give you some insights. One thing I want you to take away is you are the CEO of your life. So let's be with us and see how we can guide you through.
My name is Shelley McEnroy, and I'm a registered therapeutic counselor and mental wellness coach at Chosen Pathways. I mainly help people with anxiety, grief, loss, transition, and I believe it's all about self-empowerment and finding the way forward in your life.
Hi, my name is Joyce Erickson, and I'm known as the Happiness Igniter. And what I do is really work on sparking your happiness from the inside out, which means that you truly feel joy in your heart. And what I'm looking forward to is just really everybody being able to add a smile to their face more regularly, more than you are right now, and taking a little bit from each of us, or taking some from each of us as coaches to do that.
We have 5 fabulous coaches, and Shelley is not only a mental wellness coach, but a counselor. So we're going to get a lot of different perspectives on here because I truly believe that there is no one coach that is best for anybody, and not every coach can do everything. So if you promised yourself that you would slow down this year, but somehow life got louder again, this one's for you. My clients and friends have both been saying something to the effect of, I promised myself I would slow down in 2025, but here we are more than 3/4 of the way through the year, and it only feels like we're picking up speed. So today we're talking to the coaches about why that happens and what it really takes to find your rhythm again. Why do we slide back into overdrive even when we know we need to rest? Coach Sarah, I was wondering what you thought about this.
Thank you, Coach Doris. I think it's a great question for me. I'm a leadership coach, and I deal with many high-achieving women, and they are always hard on saying no because they're so capable. They're always saying yes to whatever they can to execute. They think they are just a machine, then they can just go on to their lives. So I would say one thing is when we're talking about slowing down, it is not about scheduling or rescheduling. It's actually about reprogramming. So we're so used to schedule, to-do list and what we can do. And so we need to learn a step back and see how can we take it a slow down and how can we make it worthwhile for us to themselves, because we're always putting others on the list or for our to serve or to care, but not for ourselves. So one thing is it's very important to honor your boundaries, know what your boundaries are, and learn or to have a courage to say no, because saying no to others also saying yes to yourself. So that's the one thing I would say. Start with that, and we can definitely learn from other coaches as well.
Absolutely. Boundaries. Well, that was one of the topics that Counselor Shelley talked about recently in one of her posts. So I'm going to jump to you, Shelley. What do you think about that?
Well, I think there's a lot of pieces to this. And one of them is that we often identify ourselves in terms of value. We value ourselves in terms of how much we do. Well, so productivity and what we do becomes a part of our identity. And along the way, we could be so busy producing, we actually forget who we are. We forget ourselves along the way and become purely focused on that productivity and getting it all done and being superwoman. And and it almost feels unsafe, I think, in the nervous system to slow down, because it's letting go of something that we've come to value in some way more than ourselves. We we've been conditioned to earn our worth through productivity in this society, and so we don't know how to self-care. It's something we all have to learn, and saying yes to ourselves.
When you personally start spinning out, and I'm going to jump to Coach Joyce on this one because I know she talks about a lot of these pieces in her happiness programs. But when you personally start spinning out, what's the first thing that you do to come back to center?
The first thing that I do is remind myself to be present. And sometimes it's just be like, whoa, just be present, Joyce. Sometimes it's, doing a little tapping, just you're here, you're focused, you're in this spot right now. And the other thing, it really might be just doing some kind of meditation or talking to myself a little bit more. Um, and those seem to work really well for me. And when I say talking to myself, I'm like, looking for the birds. Can you hear the noise that's outside? Can you hear what's going on behind you? So using my senses, touching things, smelling things. So it brings you back to the now and takes the future and the past away. And that's one of the things I do. The other thing that I can do is really look at that curtain and open that curtain up wider, right? Which is something that I've talked about before as well.
I'm very much like Joyce in this way, but I also notice for me, it's a lot about breathing. I really focus on my breath, and I'm a big advocator for the long exhale, and I know that slows down my nervous system, and when I do that, it pauses me enough to gather myself and consider what's really happening. And yeah, if I have time to make that cup of tea or go stand outside and breathe the fresh air, and just allow my body to feel the atmosphere around myself and become present, that I do think that's the key for so many of us, that we get into that state of overwhelm where we have too much going on. And give ourselves permission to take that moment. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, my next question is about how someone can tell it's time to pause instead of push harder. But I'm going to change that one a little bit um, for Coach Sarah, because as a leader, sometimes you need to notice when someone else is pushing too hard and trying to encourage them to pause and maybe take some time out to reset before they push harder. How would you recommend doing something like that?
Again, great question. And we do encounter that when we're leading our teams or we're leading an organization. And when we're not even first, it's very important to know how to stop, how to take that pause for yourself. And when you're seeing others are going through the burnout, you see that those signs. You actually, I would say the best way to invite them in your office or have that one-on-one talk and ask them, how can I help? Because most of the time, everybody wants to carry it just by themselves. They're not reaching out for help. Or if I can't help, then who can I also delegate? So that's another important part to delegation. So you can delegate to our other team members. Or it could be just Coach Shelley said, take a break just for that moment. Take a couple of deep breaths and talk to yourself. That helps with our nervous system a lot. And I've been in sales management for a long time, and I know how hard it is sometimes for our team members, and because we have to make daily target, monthly target, quarterly target. There are a lot that they put on themselves, and sometimes it becomes a lot on them. So we always talk about taking that time, take a break, and just recalibrate again and collaborate with your team's other members. So know first how to take a pause and share it with others.
Know where that line is of, okay, you know what? I can't push myself any further. I need to stop here and take a pause, take a break. Because if I don't, things are going to go bad.
Yeah, I think for me, when I can't focus is one of the biggest times. And I need to take that step back, and whether, like I said, whether it's breathing or whether it's tapping or doing those things, sometimes I do have to step back and do nothing so that I can get that focus back. And I'm fortunate enough to, over the last little bit, really learned how to do that, or how to recognize it, I guess is the best word. So, I mean, if that's what if I, as a coach, I'd be asking what they do, um, or how they recognize those kinds of things, and just make sure that they're well aware of what they need to do after that. So here's how I recognize it. I recognize that I have an issue with focusing or focusing. If I'm not focusing, that's where I start getting overwhelmed, those kinds of things. So what can I do? How can I bring myself back so that I'm not, so that I can focus?
What, in your experience for yourself or your clients, is the trigger for people to know that it's time to pause and reset rather than push harder and get through it?
I think for a lot of people, it's physical illness will come on. Like I know for me, like if I start pushing too hard, I tend to get sick, and I know that's for myself. That's one of my triggers for sure. A lot of people, I notice they get really overwhelmed or they start getting even more anxious. And it's just about self awareness, right? Just knowing what your triggers are and what it means to you, and then just taking the proper steps to kind of manage it.
Something that people mistaken a lot is being productive is go, go, go all the time. Don't give up. And that's not true because rest is such a huge part of being productive. Because it's like building a muscle, right? When you're building muscles and you're weight training, you're actually destroying those muscles. You're tearing those tissues. and they build themselves stronger and bigger by taking the rest and rebuilding. And then they're ready to go again, stronger, harder, longer. And we're the same. All right. Well, we have come to our game segment. This part here, I want to lighten things up. We often talk about some pretty serious things. Make sure we have a little bit of fun and end every episode with something fun. So this part for today is called Guilty Pleasures. So it's time for us to let people in on a little secret of a guilty pleasure that we might have. So what is one thing, maybe you've ordered it from Amazon or you have it on your nightstand or whatever the case might be, that it could be something totally random, but it's making your fall a little bit cozier or smoother or helping you deal with the busy part of fall. All right. Who wants to go
I can.
first?
So one of my favorite things is my heated blanket. And I know that sounds really crazy, but it's cooler. It's colder here in the fall, or cooler. And in the fall, one of the things that I do is I'm at hockey games a lot because we do play-by-play and camera work for some hockey games. So you're going into a cold rink and then you're coming home and you're a little bit sore, the backs, the knees, that kind of thing. So you get into a nice warm bed to start off with, and the heat just lays on your knees, on your back, and you're just kind of like, I'm happy. So that's kind of my baby that I love to enjoy for sure.
We'll make sure to get the link in the show notes so that everyone has an opportunity to see what heated blanket Coach Joyce is using and maybe get their own for a little bit of coziness and warmth.
For me, there are a few things, but the one thing for me is the aromatherapy is one of my biggest. And recently, my daughter actually, she's moving to her own condo, so it's exciting time for us. So I got her a diffuser and different scents, and of course, a mood lighting. It's very she's very fond of. She loves different lighting, so that keeps her day calm and relaxed, and she can read a book. So that's what recently I ordered from Amazon as well.
Great. Amazon, I mean, I have about 200,000 things I've ordered from Amazon. But I was also gonna say, does pleasure have to be guilty? I mean, like, can we not just enjoy it? But, recently I ordered I don't know if you guys have heard about the Dubai chocolate bar, the pistachio, and it's got Kadafa, and it's so good, but I think it was like 30 I paid like $35 for it because I wanted to try it. And okay, so maybe not worth $35, but it's really, really delicious. And I can't say I wouldn't order it again. Well, it brought a lot of pleasure. So
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, there's no need to feel guilty about pleasure for sure.
My guilty pleasure, I don't feel guilty about it at all, actually. I have, and I don't have it yet, and I have to honestly say, I probably have a dozen books that I ordered in the last 2 months, um, from Amazon, and I get so many, I don't even have time to read them all, but and that's what actually, motivated me to buy these cards. I bought They're called Mesmos mindfulness self-care cards, and they're like little cards, credit card size, with a little stand. You can set them on there, and it's just kind of a reminder of, I'm a huge supporter of mindfulness to help us get back to ourselves and become present and become aware, and a nice little reminder for me as I'm, plowing through my day, and just like everyone else, sometimes get caught up in things. So, yeah, that's my little most recent pleasure.
But what I'm really loving right now And I don't know if it's the coziness of fall or whatever, but I'm loving lighting a candle and journaling to a candlelight. I find that such a beautiful practice right before bed so that I can just calm my head. And oftentimes my journaling is just a brain dump of all the stuff, and it might not even make sense to anyone else who reads it. In fact, a couple days later, it doesn't make any sense to me, but it helps me get everything out of my head so that I don't wake up at 3 in the morning and think about all those other things I should be sleeping. So that's my pleasure right now. All right. So for everyone, thank you so much for being here, coaches. And thank you so much for watching us. Maybe your best fall isn't about doing more. Maybe it's about aligning with what actually matters and becoming aware of when it's time to pause and reset so that you can have a wonderful fall too. If today's topic hit home, leave us a comment. It tells us what kinds of things you want to talk more about, what kinds of things you liked. It's our first episode. Give us some feedback so we can make things better. And if you're ready to up level, take our quiz at BetterYou.coach and it'll match you with the right coach for where you are right now. And don't miss our next episode because we're going to be talking about when we're in that weird space of feeling burned out and feeling guilty for it because really life's pretty good. So because it's such a weird space, we wanted to make sure that we dive in there and have a conversation about it. But until next time, keep showing up for your better you. Oh, hey, thanks for watching. Since you watched this video, we thought you might really like this video. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe right there for more great videos. Plus, tap that notification bell so that you don't miss any videos at all. Comment your thoughts below and see you next time.